Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be discussing how to solve a big trigonometry question. Nick wanted to determine the length of one blade of the windmill pictured below. He stood at a point on the ground 440 feet from the windmill's base. Using surveyor's tools, Nick measured the angle between the ground and the highest point reached by the top blade and found it was 38.8 degrees. He also measured the angle between the ground and the lowest point of the top blade and found it was 30 degrees. Determine and state a blade's length x to the nearest foot. First, let's determine how many right triangles we have in order to use trig. So first we have the big triangle. So this big triangle has 440 feet at the bottom and a big angle of 38.8. We also have this smaller right triangle. It still has the 440 feet on the bottom, but it has a 30-degree angle. Notice what I'm outlining in blue is not a right triangle. What we're being asked to find is x here of that triangle, but it's not a right triangle. So first we have to figure out the big side of the triangle. So we're going to call that z. And we're also going to solve for this smaller side between here and the blade. We're going to call that y. So we're going to take that z once we find it, subtract y from it, and that's going to end up giving us x. So again, we can only use our right triangles. So we're going to find the big length of the big triangle, z. Then we're going to find the length of y of the smaller triangle, and then we're going to subtract it, and that's going to end us giving x. So let's start to find z. So notice for z, I have an angle here. That's going to be my central angle. I'm looking for z, which is across, so that's going to be opposite. And 440 is going to be my adjacent. So in order to use OA, I'm going to write SOHCAHTOA. And OA is tangent. So I'm going to find tangent of the big angle, which is 38.8, equal to the opposite, which is z, all over our adjacent, which is 440. Again, put this over 1, cross multiply. So z is going to be equal to 440 times tan of 38.8. We're going to put that in our calculator, and we end up getting 353.7690827. Again, we're going to save that for later because that's going to be helpful in solving for x. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to solve for y. Remember, y is using that 30 degrees. So again, y is going to be my opposite. 440 is going to be my adjacent. So I'm going to be using tan of the smaller angle, which is 30, is equal to opposite, which is y over adjacent, 440. Put it over 1 and cross multiply. Y is equal to 440 times tan of 30. Put that into your calculator, and you're end up going to get 254.0341184. Now remember what we said before. If we have z and we have y, the whole length of z is at 353 point so on, and the y is 254 point so on. I want to get x, I have to subtract the two. So I'm going to take the 353.769087 and subtract it from 254.0341184. And I end up getting 99.734963. And we want to round to the nearest foot. 99.7 is going to give us 100 feet. So remember, for this question, we had to use two trig functions in order to find x.